Hey, I'm Rob from JTRPodcast.com, and this is Guilds of London, a game where you're using cards in order to put people out onto different tiles, to control them, to score points at the end of the game. And you have this board laid out with these different tiles. They're all randomly placed around the two central London tiles, and you've got some people of your colour. Some are on the board, some are in your supply. You have a hand of these cards that have different abilities in the middle. They've got different sort of houses that they represent. Different guilds, obviously it's the Guild of London, different guild symbols in the top right, and different cost in the top left. So on your turn, what you do is basically you put a card face up in front of you and do what it says, and the abilities on the cards are different. You can see there's some picture here of all the symbols. There's one side of this big A4 sheet, and here is the other side. You can see them all there. There's loads of different actions you can take. And basically you're going to use as many cards in your hand as you wish. You only get a couple, and you only draw two, so you don't spend too many. Some of them do have a cost. On the back of each of those cards is a gold symbol. So in order to pay the cost, you're basically going to put cards face down. Either discard them or put them face down. We put them face down under the one we've just played. So if you want to pay a cost of one, we'll take another card from our hand, put it face down, and we'll put the card we played on top of that, so we know that's the one that we've activated. Because some of the cards do need to be referred back to at the end of the round, because they'll have at the end of the round, if you did this, then get this sort of ability. So you need to remember what you've played. And the cards will have you putting people onto the board, onto the different tiles on the board. A lot of times, depending on what the guild of the card you played is, you can move them around. You can use special abilities to do things like put meeples onto the plantation. And some will let you draw these mayor cards, which are end game scoring. So I've got a couple here as an example. So the one on the left is if you haven't got any adjacent robed pawns on the board, you get 8 points. I'll explain what robed pawns are in a bit. And here you get 1 point for every meeple on the plantation tile, which I'll get to that in a bit as well. So yeah, you can imagine there's loads of different abilities. You've seen the sheets, they do all sorts of stuff. Then what you're going to do is you're going to resolve the tile. You resolve them left to right, top to bottom, so you're going to go through and resolve them all. But only if there's a number of meeples on them equal to or exceeding the number in the top left of the tile. So you can see this one here has a 4, so there needs to be 4 meeples on that board, including the beetle, which is a silver neutral. I don't know what that's supposed to be. I haven't looked into it. It just moves around the board a bit and counts as a meeple for the different tiles. So let's just say there's a tile that has the right number of people on it. What you can do then is do some negotiation. In turn order, take one of your livery pawns. These are black pawns that are no player colour that you can earn from playing actions and completing rewards. And you can use them to switch out pawns in that guild, because you're trying to have the most in the guild to gain control of it. So you can switch out your opponent's pawns in order to try and have majority in that on that tile so that you control it. After you've done that, after all players have done that in turn order, you had a chance to swap out some meeples for the black meeples. Then you go to voting, where basically you're just counting the number on the tile. If there's one player's got more meeples on there than anyone else, then they're going to win. If there's a tie, then nobody gets the pawn. You just move on to the next one. And then you get the reward. So the winner of the tile gets the first place reward, which is on the top of the tile. So you can see on this plumber's tile at the bottom here, the player's going to get 4 points if they win. And each of the tiles got a token on it for a random second place, which is distributed as the tiles are placed on the board. So in this case, you can see that the second place is going to get 3 points, plus one of the black liveryman pawns. And the winner of the tile can also play the ability. Again, there's a ton of different ones of these. They have you moving meeples around, gaining meeples, gaining cards, drawing action cards, which is very useful. And then what you do is you flip the tile, and any meeples on there go back to the middle, except for one of the players' meeples on there that won the tile, that controls the tile. They go on top of the back of the tile. They are now a robed pawn, and that's how you get them. And then basically you start a new round. Now every 3 rounds there is a growth phase where you resolve the plantation tile. This is this tile here with this boat on it. Again, in turn order, you have a chance to replace any meeples on the board with a liveryman pawn, a black meeple, and then you do the voting. You count to see who's got the most meeples on the tile, and whoever's got the most on there gains the points from the left hand side of the tile. So in this case, the player gets 7 points, and the player with the second most gets the one on the right hand side, so that's how you're going to get some points. And then you're going to return the number shown on the card there. So on this one, you can see that if you win it, you're going to have to return 2 of your pawns back to your general supply, not back to the guild hall, back to your general supply. If you came second, you're going to return 1, and the rest of them will stay on the card and they will sort of build up towards the next round's scoring. And then there's the growth phase where you're going to put some more tiles on the board, make the board a bit bigger, you put them around the outside, and then you play a new round. You just keep going until you played a number of rounds, depending on the number of players. We played a 3-player game, so we played the full 15 rounds. You score any endgame cards. That was these we looked at here, the mayoral card. So I didn't have any guildmasters adjacent to each other, so I scored the 8 points from there. We played the boat wrong. We taught the boat bit wrong, so we were clearing the card at the end of the round, so I didn't score any points for that one, unfortunately. But I did draw some more as the game went on. I got some more points, but alas, it wasn't enough. You get 1 point for each adjacent pair of guildmasters on the board as well, and whoever's got the most points wins. And it's a nice game. I like these games where you have to discard cards to pay the cost for other cards in your hand. I like having that choice to make. That's really good. I like the look of the game's really nice. It's very simple to read. The area control part and moving people and pushing other people's meeples off the tile and replacing them with the black pawns in order to stop them getting the majority on a tile is a lot of fun, and working towards those scorecards, which are going to be different every game, that's a lot of fun as well. That's all really good. The only problem with the game is all these symbols, and there's loads of them, and it slows the game down a lot, unfortunately. I mean, a lot of them are the same, so there'll be a picture of a meeple with 2 arrows either side of it. You know that means move a meeple. But a lot of them are very confusing and not straightforward, so apart from that, because that really slows the game down a bit, you've got the bit at the bottom of this card as well. It shows you all the endgame scoring cards. There's a bit here for some special buildings as well. So there's lots of stuff to try and remember while you're playing, and it's just a shame. It is just a shame that the symbology it's not that clear, a lot of it. Most of it's pretty good, but some of it's not that clear, and that's just a shame because that kind of drags the game down a bit. But apart from that, it's a pretty decent game. That is Guilds of London. Remember to like, share and subscribe. You can follow me on Twitter at JTRPodcast, to find the blog and podcast at JTRPodcast.com. I've been Rob, aka Jesta ThaRogue, and I'll see you soon.